composing gloves here, and today I'm going to be talking about Sytrus, of course, Sytrus from the ground up, but I'm going to be talking about specifically, I really like the lows of my voice now. I'm going to be talking about these tabs right here, the different parameters we can control in Sytrus with all these other ones that we talked about just last video, a couple videos ago. By the way, do you like my tie? It's an orange tie. It's a basketball tie. My sister bought it for me for my birthday. So we're talking about panning now. So we come into our operator and we have all these different tabs available to us. And we've already talked about all the various ways we have to control these tabs. All that stuff to talk about is the parameters themselves. So we have panning. And if I turn my envelope on, this becomes left. So this is my panning to my left is at the bottom half. So from here down is to the left. From here up is to the right. So if I click a note, you could try doing that with an envelope. I think it's kind of cool if you make something, maybe a loop or something, but an LFO will probably be just as fine too. So panning, it's not that hard to understand. We have volume. Volume is the same, it's just volume. So we've been using that for the last several times. It just controls the volume. Now, you must remember that these things, like for example, if we turn the panning on and go from left to right, but then we pan our signal all the way to the, right? All the way to the right. It will not read our initial signal. It's kind of weird. Let's try doing something like this. Yeah, it reads after, but just not the attack. So it's kind of strange. So you need to be aware of things like that when you're working with this kind of jazz. So, with volume, now this sets the maximum control of our volume, right? But if we use the volume here, we're changing the volume of our operator according to the max setting we set here. So now when we turn this on and off, it's also turning that on and off. And vice versa the other way, since it's just reversed, it's just polarity reversed. So, or polarity flipped, it will turn this on and off, but this is always going to be the 0. So it'll always go from here, so whatever that is set as. This may not be a desirable thing. Maybe you want to control just this knob without controlling that knob. Well, there is a way to do so. It's called the modulation tab, the mod tab. It controls the quote-unquote or quote influence, unquote, of the modulation knob. So it specifically controls the modulation knob, giving us control over this knob separate from this knob. So if volume isn't your thing, your modulation control right here will be. Now, there are some interesting things. Like let's say that we've got one modulating all of these and they're all going out, and this is the tone. We want that tone, but we want it to, maybe we want it lower. We're like, oh yeah, that's the banger tone. That's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, but we said, oh man, but you know what would be really cool if we could take 2 and 3 and modulate those without modulating the rest. There is no way to do this in Sytrus. You either turn the volume up for all of one, or you turn the mod up for all of them. You can't control just one, which is unfortunate. So if we come into 2, like, that's it. That's all I really have to say about that. So you can't do that. Just so you know. You can in FM8. So it protects it from the influence. So on our feedback loop, so let's give an example really quick. Let's just mute all these. So, we have one, and I've got my signal coming out. It's a saw wave. And I want to, if I were to do it via mod X, so I'll just map it. This should not be news to you guys from my previous videos. So volume, but I don't like how it goes away. It's at 0, and I have no volume because that's also at 0. So what I can do is I can turn this on, that on, and let's do the mod X thing. Now let's move to mod X. That's the song you have to sing while you're doing this. And now I have my signal. And it works. So I can now officially produce amazing dank beats with that. Now, something that'd be interesting, because they said influence, give me an idea. So let's say we got 1 and 2 coming out, and I want just 2 to go away. What if I do this for just 2? Let's make 2 obviously different so that I can definitely hear it. Well, it's kind of a cool timbre, but nope, it doesn't work. Okay, just an experiment. All right, so yeah, there's no way to do that. In FM8, you do that no problem. Like lickety split, bang, 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 it's gone. But you can't do that here. So if you want to make your banger beats, you better figure out another thing to do other than that. So if anyone does know a way to finagle this, in one Sytrus. Inside Sytrus, something. I don't want any external crap. There's almost always an answer when you involve external things. That would be an interest to me. However, I do have other plugins for that particular scenario. For whatever reason, I had to have that. Okay, so we've talked about our mod, and then that's the modulation. That's one of the nifty things is for the feedback loops. Now, if we come over to pitch, we can control our pitch offset. Remember, the amount of offset this has is determined by our PE, our pitch envelope, not physical education. So I'll use an envelope. This is how you make like your lasers and so forth. That's pretty low. And this is a scenario where I would just want one thing. I guess I'm giving you an example right now because I'm on my way to being creative right now. So on the envelope, on this grid behind here, something that's convenient about the pitch side of things is that it is already broken up into semitones. So you can see the semitones available. So if you alt click it, it can return it to its default. So now we even go down. A little fast. It's so corny. Let's see if band limiting can fix it. Nope, it's already been band limited. See, I just don't band limiting thing, whatever. In the higher range, we still have problems, so I'd probably set my render setting up more if I wanted a really clean laser. But yeah, that's really cool and stuff. So, okay, so let's turn that off. I made it sound like that once, and my dad was like across the way, and man, he was freaking out because it was like one of the most annoying sounds I've probably ever made. It was the greatest. So anyways, we have this phase thing. Now this controls the phase. It's basically like LFO that also acts as a frequency modulator. It's the same thing. It modulates the phase. So go watch my frequency modulation series if you want to know more about this one. One of the nifty things about this though is it's a cool way to add. And again, we have this ridiculous opener envelope. I don't know why it's that shape. I'm sure there's a reason because these people are smart, much smarter than I am. So I don't know what the deal is. But if we turn on and off, I can control vibrato. I can make it slow, fast, whatever. Oh, and it's a triangle. It's exactly frequency modulation. So that's really interesting for us. Now we probably want something similar to a. Let me try doing a smooth curve. Nope, it's a triangle. This is very interesting. There we go. Let me increase it to be. And you essentially could get something similar to vibrato. There we go. That sounds like a vibrato, sort of. Oh, get rid of that. So you could go, whoa, 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 whoa. It's something that I would use as a track thing, as a feature in a solo. So I could be like, I can't even automate this though, can I? Oh, I can automate that. Oh, well, then check this out. Let's make this my lead sound. I just had to name it, didn't I? So I could have like my track going, and it could be like dun 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 da da da. Let's say I want a vibrato right there, like that's where my vibrato has to live. And if it's not right there, then it will repeat because this is the greatest measure that has ever been written. So we're gonna modulate our speed. So we're gonna create an automation clip, and I wonder if I can modulate the on-off. No, I can't. So I'd have to be creative about my modulation here. But I could do something like this. Have it off, have it come on right there. Right there, come on. And then go back off. And as you can see, that's the idea. And then that's pretty quick. So personally, I think Harmer's knob is more intuitive for this sort of thing. Then I didn't hear like anything. Come on. There we go. That's good. That was right there. That's what we want. So drum and bass, they have moments where that would be kind of cool. You could add a resynth or do whatever. So that's one way you could use that. Kind of cool, a little involved, but you know, it's not too crazy. So that's a phase. It's a phase knob. Another thing you consider doing is just FMing something by a really low oscillator, and it'll get you the same effect. And then you could just use the volume as long as you're not like using these things. Then you have dampening. What is the deal with dampening? Dampening is only on when your pluck is on. So then we've already talked about pluck before, so that should be done. It's in the wave morphing capabilities video. In case you saw that title, I'm like, I know all about that, but then you didn't know what pluck does, and little did you know I covered it there. So I'm going to turn this on. What does this facilitate? This facilitates, first of all, we've now turned off FM, and with this dark gray, which I still think should be red. No, it should be orange. Orange is what it should be. So with dampening, this controls how quickly our dampening factor applies. So let's open up a wave candy here, just so we can get a really good visual. And let's make it huge because we can. All right, is that really the biggest it can go? Whoa, I thought it could go bigger than that for some reason. All right, so with our dampening, we have our envelope on. You see it happens quite quickly. Let's, instead of looking at our envelope, let's control it with our mod. Isn't that just wonderful? So this is all the way, it's off. Our dampening factor has dominion. There's like literally the dampening goes all the way down to the bottom. So as we release our dampening factor, and you can automate this. Well, that's one way to get a hold of some of these things, I guess, is try linking them to the mod X. It wouldn't really work for my last example, but so that's what that does. It's really cool. So cool. Dampening. And then finally, we have the oscillator page. Now it's got all the same, as you can see, we have, okay, it doesn't have all the same. So I guess you know what? I'm going to save oscillator page for another day because it's got various ways to lock things so that we can, if we want to manipulate things in a dynamic way, we can. And it's got something called the Gibbs phenomenon, which is something I just want to, this is another topic. It's big enough for its own video. So that's what these are. If you have any questions about them, let me know. Subscribe and have a blessed day.